introducing Michael Moore.
This is my time. I've worked too hard and come too far not to get a shot at the heavyweight title.
Down goes Alex Stewart.
Oh! Still undefeated Michael Moore.
No one wants it as bad as I do. Morrison, he had it. We know what happened to him.
Michael bent on the verge of a big moment, and he's got it. That's it. And there goes Tommy Morrison's $8 million payday.
Big Daddy Bo owned it. He blew it.
Holyfield gunning for a stoppage here. It would shock the world.
And once again, heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield.
Now, Holyfield has it. I want it. Only one man stands between me and a shot at the heavyweight title, and that's Mike Evans. He won't ruin my dream.
And we bring you back live to ringside in the Reno Sparks Convention Center to get ready for the second main event of the evening. 10 rounds. A heavyweight battle between Michael Moore, ranked by two governing bodies as the #1 contender in the division, and journeyman heavyweight Mike Evans, a tough customer who has not been knocked out in 10 years. Larry Merchant makes it back down from the ring after the thrill of that featherweight championship fight. Larry, a few years ago, we looked at young Michael Moore when he first made his way into the heavyweight division as a light heavyweight champion, as a guy who was going to track along with Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe toward a heavyweight title. They got their championships. What's been happening to him?
Well, he is still, unlike them, a potential champion. He's still unbeaten. He's still a terrific prospect. He is only a fight away from fighting for the heavyweight championship because he is the mandatory challenger. But the question about Michael Moore is this: will he be the kind of fighter who gets a title shot, or the kind of fighter who can win that title shot? Or to put it in another way, is he just a work in progress, or is what we've seen what we're going to continue to get? What we've seen is a smallish heavyweight by the standards of Bowe and Lewis. What we've seen is a heavyweight, however, with a big punch by any standard. We also have seen a heavyweight who can be hit, who can be hurt, and who can be knocked down, but then who gets up, fights back, and prevails. His main problem seems to be a kind of passive aggressiveness in which he waits for the other guy to do something, and then he responds. He's got another new trainer, Teddy Atlas, a disciple of the late Cus D'Amato, trying to correct that, and tonight will be an opportunity to see if he can do that, Jim.
Indeed, his third different training situation. First Emmanuel Stewart, then Duva and Benton, and now he moves to Teddy Atlas, who is the inheritor of the Cus D'Amato tradition. Larry talked about how things have moved slowly for Michael Moore, maybe his punching power, which Larry alluded to as one reason, George. Another reason, I think, is because he's a southpaw. Nobody seems to want to fight a southpaw heavyweight.
Yeah, I remember Dick Sadler, my original manager, promising me, I will never allow you to fight a southpaw. And when you see a top-name fighter fight a southpaw, it's broken promises all the way. I wouldn't fight him if I was any champion of the world. You just allow these guys to fade away. And Michael Moore is making a stand right now, but he shouldn't take this fight for granted. He's in against a tough opponent.
Indeed. Let's take a look at Mike Evans now as he makes his way toward the ring. 37 professional fights, 29 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw. He has not been knocked out in 10 years. Evans, in junior college and college, developed an international reputation as a wrestler. Indeed, he wrestled overseas for American international teams in the company of some big names like Bruce Baumgartner and Jeff Blatnick. They were his buddies and his contemporaries in freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling. But he got into boxing while he was on a wrestling scholarship at LSU. And when he left Baton Rouge, he made the decision to try boxing first, maybe with a wrestling career still to come down the road. And you see it, 29-7-1. Larry mentions that he's been in 10-round battles, 7 of them, but his record in those fights is only 2-5. The knock is that when he gets in against a tail of the tape, Moore is 8 years younger and 28 pounds lighter. Evans has a 7-inch reach advantage, but will he be aggressive enough to make use of it? Hard to say. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
I'm not sure what these numbers mean, except they show the efficiency of Michael Moorer. I'm not sure that Michael Moorer wouldn't be better off throwing more punches and being a little less efficient. And that is particularly the case with his jabs, throwing only 14 jabs per round generally, landing a very high percentage. Maybe he'll throw more now.
And rules of the bout from Harold Letterman, who's been busy already tonight.
Michael Moorer and Mike Evans will box tonight using the rules of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. 10 rounds. There is no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. You can be saved by the bell in the last round only. Only the referee can stop the fight, and in case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, and that cut causes the fight to be stopped, we go to the scorecards after 3 rounds have been completed. Before that, it's a technical draw. Jim.
Let's go to the ring announcer, Michael Buffer, for the official particulars.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, main events, along with the Reno Sports Convention and Visitors Authority in association with the undefeated King of Beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, present the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. All the officials at ringside shall remain the same, except for the following. The 3 judges scoring the contest will be Bert Clements, Keith McDonald, and Herb Santos. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Victor Draculich. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble! 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with red trim, weighing in at 244 pounds. His professional record, 29 victories with 20 KOs, against 7 defeats with 1 draw. He's ranked number 11 in the world by the International Boxing Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, let's hear it for Mighty Mike Evans! And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks, weighing in at 216 pounds, undefeated with a record of 33-0, 30 by KO. He comes to us tonight from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting a 2-time undefeated world champion, currently ranked number 1 in the world in the heavyweight division, Michael Moorer.
All right, gentlemen, you've received your instructions in the dressing room. Are there any questions? Any questions for Chief Seconds? All right, remember, obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch button now, let's get to it.
Of course, we have a question, and that question is, can Michael Moorer make it happen instead of waiting for it to happen?
Incidentally, if Mike Evans looks familiar to you and you're a relatively casual fan of the sport, it may be because he was the star of a Budweiser light beer commercial featuring a boxer which ran for 2 whole years on network television in the middle 80s. If you remember that commercial in which you saw a fighter training, winning, and then celebrating with his pals, that was Mike Evans. He earned more money from that than he's ever earned in the ring. One begins with Evans cautiously protecting himself along the ropes and Moorer cautiously stalking him.
Moore's got a big man in front of him with a big body. Start hitting that big body. The only thing, he can't move out of the way. Start head hunting too quick, that big body starts falling off of you and you get tired. Like a football player bumping you.
George, my own personal opinion, and I'm sure I'm in the minority, but I think Michael Moorer, aside from yourself, of course, throws the heaviest punch in the division. I think he's a harder puncher than Riddick Bowe or Lennox Lewis.
There's no doubt he's a hard puncher, but a lot of the things he's getting away with, he would not have made it this far if he had been a regular orthodox left-hander in front of you with a right.
You mean a
crowd.
conventional fighter?
No, he would have not have made it this far at all. He's surviving, and a lot of his power is effective because he's on your wrong side.
and you just don't see many southpaws in the heavyweight division. Some lower weight classes, you'll find 5 or 6 southpaws in the top 20. Never is that the case in the heavyweight class.
With the Muhammad Ali, someone could jab him and move in that unorthodox style. Orthodox style, move, keep him off balance. But because you're a southpaw, you don't know where to stay in front of this guy.
Moore has thrown fewer than 10 punches in this round. We said he was efficient. Maybe he's just not busy enough.
Evans is starting to land jabs now, which is the best thing he could do. When they drop their hands, Evans' hands almost reached his knees. Why isn't he using a jab? I don't know.
The 3 guys who've gone the distance with Mike Moore, Mike White, Everett Bigfoot Martin, James Bone Crusher Smith, all of them crafty veterans who've been around like Mike Evans.
And if you get to be a crafty veteran with a punch, that means you can knock him out. Moore is starting to land a good right hook to the body. This will help him later on.
And Moore finally starting to throw punches, but not yet in bunches.
You got to tell a young fighter, okay, don't worry about finishing him up. Just get those body punches in. They'll pay off a little later.
Folks love heavyweights. Right now, I love featherweights.
Now it's all real. There's no more make-believe. Just another session. Put your legs out. Take a nice deep breath through your nose. Let it out slow. We're in control. I want that jab to get working. He's bullshitting you, Mike. He's an old vet. He likes to go nice and slow and then pop shot you with the right hand. Don't give him that opportunity. We're not going to give that to him, are we? Let's snap that jab out. Don't let him con you. And watch your range. As you start to get in that range, snap that jab out. Don't let him touch you with his jab, but then he can touch you with the right hand.
And get busy with that left hook and that overhand right, all right? Let this boy feel your power.
The moment you find yourself trapped in the corner, throw that right hand, and what comes into you.
Let's go. I'll help you out here. Let's go. Nice and alert. Let's get things working.
Round 2, if you looked at the punch stat numbers between rounds, you saw that a total of 15 blows were landed in round 1. Vargas and Kelly landed 15 in some of their exchanges.
The thing Moore's manager's corners told him is that don't let this guy fool you and wear you out. It's like some people can get a catfish or something and rub his stomach and they'll let you pick him up. Now, Mike Evans is soothing Michael Moore in that same fashion. Don't hit him too hard. Just keep him thinking he's the aggressor. You can last a long time that way.
So if you rub a catfish's stomach, he'll let you pick him up?
I've heard about these steelheads and things. They'll let you put their hands under the belly and you can just pick them up. But if you go and make a quick step, they'll run away. So with Michael Moore, just kind of jab him, throw right hands. Don't pick up the pace. Just let it happen. Before you know it, 10 rounds has gone by.
Before you know it, 6 rounds have gone by and you're asleep.
That's true.
Evans landed a right hand to the body. Pawing with the jab.
Go to a fighter like Michael Moore's training camp and see the sparring partners. Which ones last the longer? It's the ones who don't get his temper. Don't make him mad. So when you get in the fight, don't make him mad, just win.
That's right. His pattern has been, and he's a guy, when you hit him and hurt him, he comes back with heavier stuff.
You just jab and don't make him mad. Just be a sparring partner, and I'll point him.
Well, one frustrating tendency for Moore has been to lay against the ropes and be passive, but Evans has the franchise on the ropes here. He's not going to give Moore a chance to do that.
Emmanuel Stewart had him a more finished fighter. There's no doubt about it.
Teddy's just starting. Teddy Atlas's most noteworthy training experience, of course, was with Mike Tyson when he was the right-hand man to Customato during Tyson's developmental stage.
Emmanuel Stewart have always been the best 1-2 combination trainer in boxing business. Whatever hand, left hand first, right hand first, finish it with a knockdown punch.
Ooh, hard right hand from Evans over the top. And the left. A rare piece of aggression from the man who must be called the opponent here tonight.
First of all, when he's moving around on you like that, I want to cut the ring down. I don't want to follow him. All right? He's mostly sliding to your right. So anticipate that slide over and meet him. Don't allow him to con you. You hear me? He's starting to take form of the same guys we work with in the gym. No different. Don't make him better than he is. Don't allow him to get confidence. Get a swallow. All right? Relax. You have a dead round there, you take a swallow now. And you're letting him get confidence. I want to snap that jab. Don't reach in with the left hand. Snap that jab and set things up. Even if you hook off it, set things up off it. And when you make a move, look to punch. You're making too many moves.
And you hard right hand, because you ain't missing this boy. All right? Just take your time and relax.
Go, man.
Bend your body, come with the hard hooks in the right hand.
Take it down. Go.
Evans' trainer is Terry Claybon. And George, not for nothing did you spend those 28 years in boxing. You say that Evans behaves like a sparring partner, and then Teddy Atlas says the same thing.
But Evans' corner is trying to tell him now not to be a sparring partner. That could cause trouble. Michael Moore's best thing that ever was for him, he was a developed middleweight and light heavyweight. His speed was always his thing. Now he's plotting like some big heavyweight boxer. The only thing that can happen, you get hurt.
He should go back to fighting the way he did when he was a light heavyweight in the middleweight.
That's right. Duck, throw 3 punches, duck again. Throw 4 punches, duck again. He's waiting on 1, 2, 3 hard shots.
And if he doesn't get the chance, all that punching power doesn't mean a thing.
And the veterans don't allow you to just do all that hard shot, 1 punch at a time. He lays on the rope and moves his back out of the position. The old Muhammad Ali stuff. You see my body now, lay up against the rope, and now you don't have anything.
Come on, punch out of it. Punch. Okay, come on, break it up, break it up.
And when Moore starts wrestling with a 244 natural walk around 260 pounder, things can get pretty bad. Moore is starting to use a jab now, which is the best thing he could do.
Maybe the jab will set something up for him. He seems in a quandary as to how to attack Evans.
You don't attack, you just keep using your jab, keep your point system up. Things start to happen by themselves.
So forget about the knockout until it comes to you.
Yeah, just keep using your jab and things happen. Maybe 5 rounds down the road.
Come on,
you just can't
break clean.
push it.
Let go on there. Come on.
And Evans is finding out that Michael Moore really can hit with these uppercuts, short uppercuts.
Come on, break through. Come on, punch out of there.
Could be a rude awakening if he stays and let him throw those short shots.
Hard shots by Evans, giving Moore a rare opening to throw the uppercut. He lands one. And then Evans goes back to the leaning against the ropes act.
Those ropes are so loose, he could lean back to the nearest casino.
Watch your head.
Oh. Well, the most exciting part of this so far for me is listening to Teddy Atlas.
All right, my brother.
Let's hear more of him.
Oh, okay, you're dropping, you're bending back. Now we got to work the drop to give him something different. Okay? Are you listening to what I'm saying? I want you to work your drive to give him something different. When you throw the right hand, put that hook on him. I want the power off of that.
To go at a freaking slow pace. Don't cooperate with him. All right? Now snap that jab. Get your distance off that jab. If he leans back on those ropes, I want to drive a left hand to the body. The body ain't going nowhere. Just the head is. All right? Don't smother yourself inside and put your punches together. I want 4s and I want 5s. He'll make you miss 1 or 2. But the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th are going to land. So when he starts doing that slide on, put them together. All right? Come on. Just let it start going now. Nice and alert. Nice and alert. Right. Let it go.
Let's see if Moore listens to anybody.
Now, Evans is pretty clever. Keeps his right hand up. Moore is not one to land a right hook. He's wanting that straight left hand. So he's allowing him to have all of that right hook he wants.
I wouldn't want to give Michael Moore too much of that right hook because he's knocked a lot of guys out with that punch.
Yeah, but at this point, he don't want it. He wants that straight left. That's not what he wanted at all.
That's what he's trying to set up with this pawing jab, George?
Yeah, he wants it. There's the hook, but that's not what he wants. First right hand, he was ineffective, but he tried it.
Come in. Hold.
Straight left.
That straight left isn't going to be there. Evans is just going to slide away from it, right?
But he's trained hard, and that's what he's put his mind on, and at this point, he doesn't want to change. He has a good right hook.
He lands a straight left. Hardest punch of the bout so far. It was a glancing blow.
Evans, whenever he misses, he should bump more. Bump into him with that big body. Miss, bump. He can never get hit, and plus, pays off later on.
Yeah, he's got a 28-pound weight advantage, and he's not using any of it.
There he did listen. Michael Moore went to the body with 3 good shots when Evans leaned back on the ropes.
A positive sign.
I'm getting tired of bowling. Cut it out.
Evans sneaking in a left on the break there.
That's the way to do it. You sneak it in. Don't try to get too aggressive. After he throws something, sneak in a hard shot.
Now this guy should be the best clincher in the history of the business since he was a Greco-Roman champion.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to find something for him.
You can find something by knowing that he's the only guy around who will fight Michael Moore. The heavyweight champ of the world.
That's right. He's here. He's here. Nobody else wanted a piece of Michael Moore.
Not for $35,000.
Get the head back.
Blood trickling from the left nostril of Mike Evans.
Harold Letterman, after 4 rounds, a quick synopsis.
Larry, 40-36, 4 rounds to nothing in favor of Michael Moore. Larry, I want to tell you, if anybody screwed up tonight, it's the promoter. You just can't put on heavyweights after a featherweight fight. They're making it just too slow. Michael Evans is just trying to survive in his fight. Right now, he's bleeding from the nose and the mouth, taking a beating. By the way, the rule is if he goes out onto the floor because of these loose ropes, he's got 20 seconds to get back into the ring unassisted.
You know, I have the score the same way, Harold. Unlike our last fight, the Bo Holyfield fight, when I completely blew around early, giving it to Holyfield instead of Bo, this one is easy. They're making it easy to score, at least.
Let's let the hands go. Let's let them start going now.
Yep. He's spit.
Let's go.
Don't tell Evans he gets 20 seconds if he goes over the top of the ropes, or he'll be sailing onto our table at any moment.
It could happen. It could happen.
Let's go.
shot to the body.
And it hurt too.
Yeah, that I think is the strategy that will work here, George. Just target the body for a long period of time.
Emmanuel stood when he had Michael Moore. That right to the body, left to the body would have been finished by right to the head and another left to the body. And a knockout.
Emmanuel's done a nice job with Holyfield, hasn't he?
I'm telling you. The thing about good trainers, they should never involve themselves in management. Then your guy loses up, breaking up with a manager and a trainer, and it destroys his career.
Watch that forearm.
Well, on that particular score, Emmanuel doesn't apparently agree with you.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have his fighter now, and he could have been a better fighter with Emmanuel Stewart as a trainer.
Because Stewart brings out the aggression in a fighter.
That's right. And evidently Moore had some dispute about his management part. Not about his training idea.
If they get as loud here as they did during the featherweight fight, it will be for entirely the opposite reason. Another hard left to the body as Evans went backwards.
It's always a big mistake to bring in the big heavies after a quick fight with lighter-weight fighters. For the crowd, that is. They just can't stand to be soothed down after such exciting bouts.
So the preliminary before a heavyweight bout should be a slightly lesser quality heavyweight bout.
Should be bigger guys. Then this would be fast-moving action.
Wait a minute, guys. I couldn't stand a fight worse than this. I want to come out of this evening with something.
Larry, you've sat through fights worse than this, but you do get paid for it. A left and a right by Evans.
Good right.
Sharp right by Moore. Yep, over the top. A natural right-hander who's been taught to fight left-handed. He can jab with that right hand, hook off of it, uppercut, uses it for a lot of different weapons.
And it's a shame because a lot of people cannot appreciate the tactics that Mike Evans is using. He's fighting an extremely good puncher, and he's moving in the right direction, keeps his hands up at all times, thinking it might happen in the latter round.
You don't think he's fighting just to last, George?
Not at all. He knows what he's got to do. He can't mix it up with this guy early on. He's
You're in there just making a miss. When you're throwing, he's defensive. He's not doing anything with his hands. It's just when you lay in front of him and you allow him to work. And if you do make a miss, you got to throw back. Let's get him some water. Now I want to give you some definite things to do this round. I want you to work off that jab, slip to your right, throw the right hook to the body and the head. I'm going to give you, and then you'll find your way off that. But start doing things. When you get at that moment of truth range, off the jab, I want you to slip over. I don't want you to figure it out anymore. I want you to slip over, throw the right hook to the body and the head, and put your punches together. All right? Stop. You get.
You're the man out there. Put some power in your punches. Sit down on someone. Put some power in it.
I like what Atlas is doing there. A fight rushes by so fast that a fighter doesn't even realize what's happening. And he is telling Moore, look, do this, and then let the fight begin. Trying to give him something concrete to do.
You know, it's strange because you got to have a lot of pride when you start hearing boos in the audience and don't do anything. When you got pride, you get ashamed.
Come in.
And I think Michael Moore could be in that position after hearing those boos.
I just sneezed
just a little
twice.
ashamed.
I just sneezed twice, George. I think I'm allergic to this fight.
Okay, come on, pick it up.
Suddenly, Evans is on the offensive.
He's on fire. He's on fire here, Larry.
Okay, don't get carried away, Jeff.
He's picking up the pace a little bit. He had a strategy.
Come on, let go in there. Let go. Let's go.
You got to understand when Rocky Marciano fights would go like this for round after round, and all of a sudden the guy who was so great and so good was on the canvas, and Rocky was walking away looking like the greatest guy in the world because he knocked him out in the last.
So you are casting Evans in the role of Rocky Marciano here, is that right?
No, I'm just saying you shouldn't be bored when something is happening. It's like jazz. You got to figure it out.
Okay. You listen to jazz, George?
I love jazz when I can figure it out.
Teach me about it sometime, okay?
Well, jazz is improvisation, and I don't see anything being improvised here that's memorable.
What about the tassels on his trunk?
Oh yeah, the tassels on the trunks are very good. The crowd is chanting, George, George, George.
They want the belly bump.
They want to see you belly bump them, big man. And George waved and got the resulting cheer in response.
And it's kind of should be kind of frustrating for Michael Moore because he really wanted to get in there and show what he can do. He's in with a veteran who knows how to prevent a good fighter from doing what he wants to do. Good straight left hand. Left hook.
If you're tuning in late and you're wondering which one of these guys is the #1 ranked heavyweight contender in the world, it's the fella in the black trunks, Michael Moore, the southpaw. Indecipherable so far.
Your mind together right now? Let's get it together, okay? We got 12 minutes. I want to work for those 12 minutes, all right? I don't want to save them for the dressing room. Now, when you get them off that jab, snap that jab. When you're at your arm's range, let their hands go off of that. You got your good distance. You're not leaving yourself open. You don't have to go closer. You go all closer, he smothers you. Let their hands go. Don't let them make you indecisive. Let them go with that range. When you feel you hit them with that jab, let something just go off that range. Now, when let
me have a towel. Try to stem this up off him. That way, won't be slipping Mike. You see how you lead with that right hand? Spit. You see how you lead with? Come on. See how you lead with that?
Stop moving. Come on. Stop moving your hands.
George, I've got a question. When you fought Ali in Zaire and he did the rope-a-dope, were the ropes as loose as they are here tonight that allowed him to do that?
Oh, I got better excuses than that.
I'm not trying to give you an excuse. I'm just trying to get a comparison because
the ropes are awful loose here tonight, and that could, it really benefits a guy who's trying to stay out of harm's way. You get on those ropes, the guy think he has your body, then you lean back, and he's out of range. You got to understand that Muhammad Ali fought a lot of fights in the same fashion that Evans is doing, but with the shuffle and the I'm the greatest and talking to his opponent, it camouflages all of that. If you can't do anything, make a show out of not doing anything.
And while you're a great kidder, George, let me make the point that you've never made public excuses for what happened in Zaire, and it was a quick stoppage by referee Zach Wheat, which you never complained about. I admire you for both of those.
Watch that shoulder.
Zach Clayton, excuse me. Zach Wheat was an outfielder for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
He, too, was guilty of the occasional quick stoppage.
A little light banter here between these furious exchanges.
Round 7 of the 12-rounder, or the 10-rounder, I should say, between Michael Moore and Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is starting to weave a right jab that Moore is throwing, so his confidence level is coming up more and more too.
And Moore is starting to get more aggressive and just wail away a little bit. That won't hurt the action, George.
Moore has a lot of bad cold. When you see him sit in his corner, you know he's doing a lot of coughing up. He has a bad cold, and his trainer's talking too much.
Yeah, well, Teddy loves to talk.
Sometimes you give a guy a lot of breathing room, and you tell him, just move your head, you're doing good. Move your head a little more, and he'll do it all by himself.
2 good straight lefts in the corner there by Moore.
Move your head and just stay busy. Just refresh him in the corner, which is hard for trainers to do.
Credit where credit is due. Moore is stepping up the activity level, landing more efficiently, and landing harder punches as round 7 progresses.
He himself has not lain on the ropes, so that is some progress. He has been the aggressor throughout.
But there's little room for him to lay on the ropes, George, because Larry, I should say, because Mike is taking up a lot of that space. Oh, hard left hand by Evans.
He soothed him to sleep, and then he slapped him hard. You got to be careful. Don't forget that Mike Evans is 244 pounds.
Harold Letterman, after 7 rounds, your scorecard.
Larry, 70-63, 7-0, Michael Moore. Larry, I got to tell you something. I learned a lot about boxing from a great referee from New York who I used to work with years ago named Lou Eskin. And in a fight like this, Lou would go to the corner and say to Michael Evans, if you don't fight, you don't get paid. And I want to tell you, that's what Victor Dracula should do right now. Go to the corner and tell this guy either fight or I'm throwing you out of here and I'm not paying you, because this is a joke. Evans is trying to survive, and it's all there is to it. It's all Moore.
I can remember also, Harold, the great Teddy Brenner, the famous matchmaker and promoter, going himself to the corner and telling a fighter in this situation, you better fight or you'll never be back here again. But of course, Evans doesn't care if he'll ever be back here in Reno again. In those days, that was in Madison Square Garden, and that was a real threat from the promoter.
These days, if you try that, Mike Evans will own your home, your car, and everything else.
In our litigious society. Excellent point, George. Two hard lefts from Moore again.
Those punches hurt, too.
Yeah, he's stepping up the energy level in these later rounds.
It's too bad Moore is dependent on 1 and 2 shots, though. There was a time when he put together 4-shot combinations. Those days are gone. He will not be able to win a title throwing 1 and 2 shots like that.
Do you think that the booing got to his pride, George?
No doubt about it. He's trying to do the best he can, but he's fighting a guy who's not going to get in there and get hurt. I heard him tell his corner man, Mama didn't raise no food. I'm not going in there.
Yeah, but if you don't take your hands out of your pockets, George, you can't win at the gambling table or in the ring. You got to take some chances. He said this is a championship fight for him.
Yeah, and you feel that way until you start tasting the power of Moore like he's starting to do now.
Evans was momentarily staggered by the uppercut there.
Punch out! Punch out! Let's go!
Sometimes you can have 40 fights and never feel a shot of a heavyweight. You just never know that power. He's starting to feel a once-in-a-lifetime shot. This big guy could just get upset and try to go out there and go after Moore. He could whip Moore.
No, he can't, George.
Okay. Said too much.
But you're trying. We like that.
I saw Michael Evans fight Tony Tucker, and for 8 rounds he had Tucker beaten, actually, and just gave it up the last couple of rounds.
That was during Tucker's blue period.
No, that was in his late period, on his comeback.
If only Evans could dig in there. Dig in there and fight back. You can train a fighter to do anything but that.
Maybe he can pin him.
Another one-sided round in a one-sided fight between Michael Moore and Mike Evans. Earlier this evening, in a semifinal bout on this card that you did not see here on HBO. A welterweight contender named Yori Boy Campos from Mexico, in the orange shorts there, knocked out Floyd Williams, knocked him out with a body punch in the 4th round to move his record to 54-0. Campos, a welterweight contender whom you are likely to see down the road. You see Floyd Williams being counted out by Mills Lane there. And once again, it moved Campos' record to 54-0 with 49 knockouts. He will be heard from in the welterweight division.
Throw that jab on top of him and then throw the left uppercut. Anticipate. Don't wait to see it. Throw something on top. He'll lean forward. Just dip and throw the uppercut automatically. He'll lean right into it. And if he leans forward inside, just adjust where you can throw an uppercut where you fall into it.
You have to give this to Michael Moorer. By changing trainers, he's really saying, I want to get better. I want to take advantage of these tools I have. He's trying something. This is not the opponent to look good trying it.
He had 3 fights with Lou Duva and George Benton. A lot of people thought it was an odd pairing, since Moorer's stock in trade is punching power, and Duva and Benton have done best with technicians. He didn't like what they were telling him, and he decided to move on.
Biggest mistake, he let his trainer get away. Evander Holyfield has him now. He's a Detroit fighter with those punching habits. You need a Detroit trainer.
He had those warrior instincts that come from long afternoons in the gymnasium in his years with Emmanuel Stewart. Now he's feeling his way along. But he may well be feeling his way toward a heavyweight title shot, because, as Larry pointed out at the beginning of this particular bout, he is the mandatory challenger. In other words, if Holyfield wanted to fight somebody else next, e.g. Lennox Lewis, then Moorer would have to get step-aside money.
You got to wonder, has he learned anything by fighting a guy like Mike Evans? I'd say yes. Be patient. The fight isn't won in the 1st and 2nd round. Bo went out and tried to knock Holyfield out in the 1st round and threw away most of his good energy. Moore knows now that he can pace himself and get a late round knockout, a late fight knockout. Sometimes you can learn a lot from these fights, a lot more than your people look like that you're going to learn.
Good left hand inside. Moorer has been landing at an extraordinarily high rate for the last couple of rounds. But will it take enough of a toll to bring a knockout? Well, only 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in which to answer that question.
Strange thing about it, Michael Evans has shown the way to beat Michael Moorer. Do the same thing, but use some power periodically. Moore's had late round knockouts in his career too. Good double left hook by Mike Evans.
Mike, last round, brother.
All right, it's not too late. The double hook worked in good. Right over there. Get that off a couple times and then go crazy on this man.
Hey, you guys, these people pay good. Let's see a fight out here this last round, okay? Last and final round. Come on.
Hey,
Put the hook.
Last round, Mike. Keep your hands up, keep your chin down, and get your punches off, all right?
Michael, last and final round. These people paid admission. Let's make a good fight this last round, huh? Come on. Not him.
Great
yourself
advice.
a little bit. Let's not battle yourself this last 3 minutes. All right? Just him, not yourself. Off that jab, when you have your distance, if he's conning you like that, let the left hand go to the body, don't fall in, and then the right hook on top to the head.
Okay? I want bombs, okay?
Let's go.
These people paid admission. How many times have you heard a trainer say to his fighter, these people paid admission?
Well, that was at the bottom of everything Customato did as a trainer. Customato felt that that this is a tough game, and the idea is to make money, and the way you do that is by being an aggressive, entertaining fighter. And we hear Teddy Atlas trying to ingrain that in his fighter.
Maybe a tough sell. Yesterday, when Harold Letterman gave a long sort of encomium to Moore in his room about how entertaining a fighter he had been early in his career, I asked Moore at the end of that discussion, does that mean anything to you? Does it matter to you that you're entertaining? And he said no.
And two, Moore is not taking the advice of his trainer. He's trying for a knockout. He's not having fun. So you can see this trainer is not changing anything.
Not so far, but he's only had 8 weeks.
He's not taking his advice.
Teddy Atlas says that he believes Moore punches as hard as the young Mike Tyson with whom he worked when he and D'Amato were developing the future heavyweight champion as a teenager.
Mike Tyson did not punch with power, he punched with speed. And he would hit you in the proper spots and knock you down.
I think most people would argue that he punched with speed and power, George.
No, power, speed is power when you're not a big guy.
But we can all remember that in a fight not unlike this, how Mike Tyson was smothered by Bone Crusher Smith, and it was almost a replica of this kind of fight.
Yeah, except that Bone Crusher did a lot of hugging and clinching.
Right.
Different than what Evans has done.
Evans has got a wrestling hold.
It's like one of those 6-0 professional football games, 2 field goals.
No, they're all exciting in the NFL, Larry. Every game is a masterpiece.
Yeah, if you throw your punches with, let them go with speed and accuracy, you'll get a lot of knockouts.
We could show you the people making their way to the exits to beat the traffic home, but we'll focus on the action in the ring. Suffice to say, they know who's going to win on the scorecards.
Well, as Georgie Benton, his former trainer, liked to say, just win this fight, you'll be exciting next time.
Maybe Moore was listening to Georgie tonight.
Moore has done everything he could, but he's a counter-puncher. The fight has not come to him, and he just couldn't do anything.
Yep, I agree with you. And I think that Evans was simply there to survive from the beginning.
And he survived.
Maybe hoping to get lucky, but not much chance of that. So Evans didn't get lucky, and in the end, neither did we.
Yes, we did. We had a great 12-round featherweight championship.
Yeah, we were already lucky. That's right.
Maybe we were like a crapshooter who's doubling up too much, has won a big pot, and is looking to get another one too fast. Harold Letterman, your final scorecard.
Larry, wasn't the toughest fight I ever scored in my life. 10-0, 100-90, Michael Moorer. I want to tell you something. Michael Moorer did learn something tonight, and what he learned was that the next time he fights, before the fight starts, you go out and make sure the ropes are tight, because Michael Evans, all he did was lean back over those ropes so Moorer couldn't hurt him. I mean, it was all Michael Moorer. He wrapped him around for 10 rounds, an easy shutout for Moorer.
Agreed.
Another throwback to Benton and Duva. Their fighters pitch more shutouts on the scorecards than anybody else's in the sport. The Pernell Whitaker kind of a scorecard that you laid out there for Mike Moorer. So there's the man who may be the next to fight the man, if in fact he presses his right to a mandatory heavyweight challenge with Evander Holyfield. Right now, let's go up to our ring announcer, Michael Buffer, for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, all 3 judges, Bert Clements, Herb Santos, and Keith McDonald, scored about the same, 190 for the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated, ranked number 1 in the world, Michael Moorer.
Hey, good job, Harold.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're quite welcome.
It wasn't the most difficult job I ever did.
No, we know that. All right. Michael Moorer with a unanimous shutout of Mike Evans. 190 on all 3 cards, just as on Harold Letterman's. Let's go to Larry Merchant with the winner.
All right, Michael, give us your assessment of the fight.
First of all, thank God.
He didn't really want to fight.
Agreed. What did you get out of that then?
Just 10 rounds of work, basically. Teddy wanted me to work my jab more, but I couldn't. I tried to get off, but he's a veteran. He's a con man.
Were the ropes too loose? Did somebody miss a stitch?
He was going too far back. He was going too far back, and I was committing myself and making myself overrun.
All right, now let's go to the next step. You are the mandatory.
Now I'll answer all the questions about that, Larry.
You are the mandatory challenger for the heavyweight championship of the world. Do you feel you will be better advised to have another fight or two with Teddy Atlas, perhaps against opponents that you can better show your stuff, or do you want to go directly to Evander Holyfield?
First of all, what I'm thinking, I'd like to say I love my wife back at home. Love you, Bobby. I don't think that being with Teddy means anything. I don't think it means that I'm fighting some different than other people may anticipate. But you got to look at the opposition in front of me. The guy today wanted to survive.
Right.
Evander, he's a true champion. He's a dedicated guy. Why wouldn't he fight me, first of all? Now, when that fight takes place, I'll be ready for it. It'll be a whole different story then.
There's a possibility that they would offer you a whole bunch of money to stand aside, say, and fight the winner for a huge purse. Would you consider that? Because after a fight like this, the purse for a championship fight might not be as high as it would be down the road.
Well, Larry, I couldn't answer that. I'll leave that up to my manager, John Davamos, and he's right here if you want to ask him and see what his response is, because I wouldn't know nothing about it.
All right, thank you, Michael Moore. We've had a long night, and we have to go back to ringside with Jim and George.
All right, so the question remains open whether Moore will take step-aside money to allow for a potential Holyfield-Lewis bout, or whether he's going to press his right to the mandatory challenge. George, did you see anything tonight that gives you an indication as to what this guy would do against Holyfield if he gets him next?
I know one thing, it's a shame to say giving someone step-aside money in boxing. I mean, that's shameful. This guy could do a lot better against an Evander Holyfield, a guy who would try to knock him out. He could protect himself and get a knockout. I do believe he's ready for a title shot. I've said that a year ago. He's just wasting time not having a title shot. Michael Moore could be the next heavyweight champ of the world.
And indeed, because of the way Holyfield fights, he might give Moore the chance to use that punching power that we didn't get to see tonight.
And he could get up for that kind of opponent and really give a good show for himself.
All right. Thanks very much. You know these heavyweights inside out, big man. I'm always impressed with what you have to tell us about those fights. Larry makes his way back down now from the ring. Your thoughts on what was a sort of Jekyll and Hyde evening of boxing? Great featherweight championship fight, and then 10 rounds of heavyweight.
Well, we did have one terrific fight. This is our last fight of the year, and I'd like to end it on a high note by looking backward over the year and say something about prize fighters, which is that these highly skilled risk takers, in my judgment, when they